We're in Way Media.
Right, Mr. Walters?
You see that guy over there? Now, he's an actor. The guy on the phone, he's a prize fighter. Me, I'm a cab driver. I'm the only cab driver in this place.
Good evening and welcome to Night, Mr. Walters, a taxi podcast. I'm HP, your co-host, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Father Malone. Father Malone, how are you this evening?
I'm well, HP. I'm wondering how many times we're going to use the word styptic this evening.
Probably more in one evening than I have in my entire life, but we'll get to that. We're talking Taxi Season 4, Episode 15. Simka Returns. Yay! We're so happy. This is going to be a great one.
Well, her presence doesn't necessarily mean great taxi. I mean, it does, but
I think it does. Well, we'll talk about why this. Well, you know what? We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Are we?
This was written by Howard Gewirtz and Ian Praiser, and it was directed by your new favorite director. It's Michael Zinberg from Tony's Gal or Tony's Lady, whatever the last episode was.
Are you having fun with me here, or did I mention that his direction was good?
No, and I think it's good here as well. I'm giving the man his props. I'm giving you your props.
All right, fine.
So
I won't fight you for calling me out as you know.
I'm not calling you out. I'm giving you I'm giving you your flowers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Say.
I won't call you. I won't. Never mind. Cut all that out.
All right. We're not, absolutely not. Reminder, we're doing these shows in broadcast order and not in order of filming. We begin, as we so often do, Father Malone, in the garage, as Louis walks over to a poker-playing Alex. He asks Alex what he's going to do about his problem. And Alex says, "What are you talking about?" And Louis explains that, well, with Latka's girlfriend coming back, who's going to explain to her about Latka's multiple personalities? So I had forgotten that this was another multiple personality / Vic Ferrari episode, Father Malone. And I think I've mentioned in the past how I thought it was a gimmick that had run its course.
Yeah. Yeah, I disagree with you. I love Vic Ferrari any chance we get. And he's on full display here, the romantic Vic Ferrari.
I made that statement that I thought he was a gimmick, and I was wrong because I think he's quite good here.
Plenty of juice left.
Plenty. But I think it is kind of odd that Louis is taking such an interest in Latka's love life that he wants to, I don't know, that seems odd to me.
I don't think he's at all interested in Latka's love life. He just relishes the idea that he's going to ruin that person's day. Once Simka finds out he's got multiple personalities, maybe she'll fuck off and then Latka will continue to be miserable and they can all be miserable together because misery loves company, HP. Spend the night with Stephen King.
I guess I didn't consider that angle, that it may be Louis' way, like you said, of ruining somebody else's day. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
You know what? You're right. I'm thinking about a latter part of this episode, and the direction is actually really good. I did want to I didn't realize it was the same director, but there's a moment later that I was like, wow, that's really cool.
I'm being dead serious. I'm the one in the previous episode who I was initially casting aspersions at Zinberg, and you set me straight. So I'm again, I can't stress this enough. You were right, and I was wrong, Father Malone. So let's just get that out there.
I don't need that. I'm not looking for that.
No, it's fine though. So Alex takes umbrage at Louis' typically insensitive referral to Latka's multiple personalities. I think he says something like he's cuckoo or he's loco. I don't remember what, but he says something.
Like a batshit crazy face and blah, 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 like a lot of tongue wagging and yeah. Basically, what anyone's the general populace's outlook on mental health issues was basically embodied by Louis De Palma here, which is you're either okay or you're a fucking lunatic.
Latka walks in. He's wide-eyed as usual, and he's festooned with tissue paper dots all over his face, which men recognize as the putting, when you cut yourself shaving, you put these little dots of tissue paper all over your face. Although I'm trying to think, I don't know that I ever really did that much. When I would get cut, I would just kind of like staunch the bleeding with my finger, and it would never last that long. Well, I don't know. Did you?
Razor technology has improved dramatically over the past 30 years or so.
Well, now we have 5 blades instead of just one.
We should have 23. Isn't there an SNL ad with like 150 blades and like?
It's true. Well, I mean, I'd gone through every fad. I've gone through the 5, 6, whatever blades. I even tried the electric shaver, which never really did a very good job on my face. So
I've done the toilet paper bit
Yeah.
a couple of times in my life, but mainly I didn't have to because I learned about the wonders of a styptic pencil.
Well, I was never see this is all new to me because I never learned about a styptic pencil. I would always, like I said, I would either staunch it with my finger or I would try to use some aftershave which had alcohol in it, which would burn like a motherfucker, but it would do the trick. So anyway, Latka's got all these little pieces of tissue paper all over his face. He says he wants to look good for Simka, and Jim asks if this is if he's talking about his girlfriend, and then Tony and Elaine sort of tag team a quick exposition about Simka because if I'm not mistaken, Jim wasn't around for the Simka episode, so I thought
That's
that was
right.
pretty clever.
And so Tony and Elaine show up to hammer home the fact that we're in the 1980s with Elaine suddenly has fucking shoulder pads in her purple and orange Hanna-Barbera 70s villain character outfit. She looks like the Hallow Queen, you know? The Mage of Autumn or something.
Well, I did. You're getting ahead of me. I did mention her outfit. I thought it was more Joker-like, although Joker didn't really wear orange, but the purple and orange combo definitely seemed super villain-esque. We'll leave it at
HP, you know, purple is the most regal of colors.
that. It is. It's very royal purple, in fact.
But I do want to mention Tony's haircut in this episode. It's late era Joan Jett. You know, once it had gotten down to like shoulder length, but still kind of curling towards her face. That's what Tony's hair is doing here. He should be singing "Da Do Ron Ron."
His hair is odd, but also I don't know if you noticed, but there was something about the shirt that he was wearing that made him look super jacked. I don't know what it was, but he just looked like a mountain of a man.
Well, that's because he knew he wasn't going to be in this episode at all, so he had to make an impression
It's
in
not
this
in it much.
one moment.
Latka says that he foolishly let Simka slip away without telling her that he loved her, and he's not going to let her slip away again. He says she's the only girl for him in the whole world. There's something about, I don't know if it's a fondness that Andy Kaufman had for Simka or the characters. He had a fondness for the characters, but there's something special about the way Latka talks about Simka and the way they interact in this episode, as we're going to see. I found it delightful.
I remember him being a cocksucker to Simka, and that's why she left. I think we've got a lonely man here who realizes he's not going to get any play in America. He even says something to that effect, and now Simka's returning to his life, and he realizes that this is his last best hope at having a romantic relationship.
See, I remember the ending of that Simka episode with Latka
I
tearfully
find Vic
drinking a beer.
Ferrari to be more romantic in this episode than Latka is.
See, no, but
You're a sap, you sentimental fool.
I am sentimental. I remember at the time you didn't like that end of that episode where he puts the coin in the jukebox and they do "Summer Lovin'"
Oh my
or
God!
"Summer
I
Nights"
want
from
to
Greece.
punch him in the face, brother. Like it's this manufacturer. We're supposed to feel bad for him at the end of the episode. It's like it's your fault. Like deal with it. You've made that bed. Lie in it, my foreign friend.
Look, I got a joke for you, Father Malone.
Oh,
How does a mountain girl make love?
how does a mountain girl make love? I forget. What? How?
Like an angel, as he tearfully looks into his beer and realizes the fucking mistake he just made. Heartstrings, my friend, heartstrings.
That's the mournful version of the Entertainment Tonight theme.
How did you go from Summer Nights to the John Tesh Entertainment Tonight theme?
Because I thought about the similar sentiment of Entertainment Tonight playing a mournful version of their theme while they were showing somebody who had recently died has the same impact as Latka crying into his beer after being a dickhead to this sweet, beautiful woman who just wanted to love him.
Nevertheless, Latka, for whatever reason, has realized the error of his ways, and he's not going to let this chance slip away again. And I think
I
that's
would
great.
like Tony to step in here and try to steal Simka away. Imagine that plot line.
Oof, that would be crazy. I can't
That
even imagine.
Can you imagine that? That would be tough, right?
I mean, with Tony's on the rebound from the Tony's lady, the woman
The
that got
chauffeur,
away.
yeah, like that rich woman, he was never getting her. But Simka, he could impress her with his boxing prowess.
Yeah, Kid Rodriguez, right? The Kid Rodriguez. So Alex tells Latka he better get rid of all that tissue paper on his face. And actually, and here we go. He says, Latka, you should be using a styptic pencil. Now, can you, for people like me who've never used a styptic pencil, and I mean literally never even held one in my hand, what is a styptic pencil, Father Malone?
It's a little medicinal pencil, basically. I mean, it's like a little stick, and it's got fluid in it, and you rub it on the wound, and it staunches the wound. It causes whatever chemicals come to the skin to like stop the bleeding. It encourages that right away. My mother is a nurse, I should point out. So I've known since I was a tiny child what a styptic pencil was, and then I should always have one. When I mentioned doing the method of toilet paper to staunch a wound, that was only because I was in a place in my life where I didn't have a styptic pencil within reach. Otherwise, I always have one.
And is it? You said there's liquid, so it doesn't. You don't sharpen this thing.
Before it was just sort of you rubbed it in the wound, but now it's more of like a liquidy kind of thing.
Oh, okay. And it just eventually just runs out, and you throw it away, or do you refill it?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
Get a new one.
Interesting. I have a full beard. People who don't know, who haven't seen the picture of me on the podcast masthead or whatever, but I don't really shave like a great deal. I only shave, on around my neck and above my beard. So I don't have a problem with cutting my face while shaving anymore.
I have to shave a lot because I have makeup put on my face all the time.
Oh, so. I can imagine. Does a styptic pencil hurt when you apply it? Is it alcohol? No,
not at all. I mean, maybe a little bit of a bite, but nothing like mercurochrome. Remember that bullshit? Did you have,
yes.
did you have a bottle of that in your house growing up? This glass bottle with a dropper that was also made of glass. You just drop it on and sizzle it. It was like alien blood.
That stuff killed. That was bad. So Latka asks where he might find one, and before Alex can even reply, Jim says, "Here, use mine." And he pulls a pencil from behind his ear. Now, Alex initially scoffs at this. He thinks it's just some stupid pencil, but then he quickly realizes that it's not just a pencil, it's actually a styptic pencil. And this leads to one of my favorite jokes in the whole episode, Father Malone. Alex asks Jim, like, why do you have a styptic pencil behind your ear? And Jim's reply, and I'm not going to do Jim, but Jim's reply is, he says, well, in light of what happened, a better question, Alex, is, why aren't you? Why don't you have one since Latka needs one, Alex? Brilliant. Great writing.
As a lifelong styptic pencil carrier, I got to agree with Jim on that one.
Ultimately, it's because we're so used to Jim, the burnout, just throwing out weird non sequiturs.
I don't know what day of the week it is. Ha ha ha.
This was such a cogent, pointed remark that I just had to applaud because it was a rare moment of clarity from old Jim. I loved it.
Take her to my house. I'm having a luau.
So then Simka strides into the garage. She gets all this applause. Now, you and I, Father Malone, have already spoken of the marvelous Carol Kane in previous episodes, but a side note, Carol Kane won the first of her 2 Taxi Emmys for this very episode.
Ah, very good. She's really good in it.
The Taxi team loved her so much, they invited her back for another episode. Before finally, after that 3rd episode, effectively, she was finally asked to join the cast as a regular member. So
should have happened a season ago.
It really should have, because there's a spark when she's on there. Like we've talked at length about some of these regulars and how some fit in, some didn't. You could tell from the get-go that she fit in. Her style of acting, her comedy, everything meshed with the regular players. So I'm thrilled to see her. Look, this season 4, Father Malone, there's been some decent episodes and a lot of not so decent episodes. But this is questionable. This is such a like a ray of sunshine amidst all of that. It's hard to get a negative vibe when Carol Kane is up there, and she's so the role of Simka really fits her like a glove. She embodies the character almost exactly the way that Andy Kaufman embodies Latka, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've never seen a bad performance of her, Miss Carol Kane. This is no exception, obviously. I love Simka as a character. I've been waiting, actually, the whole series for her to fucking come back, honestly. Should be noted, fellow Trek Fest co-host HP, that she's been on all 4 seasons of Strange New Worlds.
Was that her debut in Star Trek, or was she in anything before that?
I think she was in Picard, wasn't she?
I only saw season 3, so I don't know.
Oh no, maybe not. No, but she may have done some minor role or everything, or something. But she's basically the Enterprise's engineer until Montgomery Scott shows up.
Simka asks the cabbies if Latka's here, and they tell her that he'll be right out. Of course, he's busy dealing with his shaving mishaps. And Simka's relieved, telling them all that she really missed Latka. And she confides that she didn't have a lot of luck with men lately, and she's happy to maybe get Latka back in her life. But Latka finally shuffles out, and they greet each other. And I've always loved Kaufman's kind of hesitant shuffle, his Latka shuffle. His head is always sort of bent forward. It always sort of resembled some sort of bird with his wide eyes and his crooked neck and his kind of like shuffling back and forth. It's adorable. The two of them make such an adorable couple. It has to be said.
I've seen the light, HP. That the light is named Vic Ferrari.
Oh boy. Well,
I can't go back to Latka anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh, see, I'm so shocked by this development, Father Malone. I really thought you'd feel the opposite way.
Nah, I'm over Latka and his goody two shoes nonsense. I'm with Vic Ferrari. Do your job, Latka.
Well, that was a good feature for Vic when they were going back and forth, having a battle about the cleanliness of their work.
I got to do my work and his work.
Actually, you do.
Yeah.
Latka and Simka, they greet each other, and they're talking in their own language until Simka tells Latka they can speak English now because she's very comfortable speaking it now. And it made me forget that when we saw her previously, her English wasn't very good. So the two of them make a somewhat stilted plan to see each other for a date, which prompts Louis to exclaim, "Whew, this is just like body heat." What's interesting about that comment is 2 things, Father Malone. This is a bit of a side note. Number 1, it reminded me what a sensation the movie Body Heat was at that time. There was nobody hotter in movies at that point than Kathleen Turner. She was like this incredible sex pot in this movie, remember?
Oh my God, yeah. There was quite the stir over Lawrence Kasdan's little sexualized thriller, but there hadn't been anything like that in a while, like a good old fashioned 2 people wanting each other and breaking down doors to get it.
That's interesting in and of itself that Body Heat was such a big deal at that time. But what I think is even weirder is that this is in its own way a presaging of DeVito himself working with Body Heat star Kathleen Turner on not 1, not 2, but 3 movies in the future. He's going to do Romancing the Stone, its sequel, Jewel of the Nile, and what was the 3rd movie, Father Malone?
War of the Roses, of course.
Mm-hmm. Which I loved. I saw that in the theater.
Yeah, I did not. I thought it was a pretty good studio black comedy, big studio black comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But not as darkly delicious as it thought it was. It wasn't as naughty as it thought it was.
I thought it was kind of interesting that DeVito ended up working with Kathleen Turner, this throwaway line.
Again and again and again.
There you go. Maybe there's a 4th. I don't know. Did they work on anything else?
No, I don't.
That's
think
all
so.
I could think of.
They should have worked together twice. There never should have been a Jewel of the Nile.
Agreed. Jewel of the Nile was a complete cash in. I mean, there's no reason to make a sequel to Romancing the Stone. There was absolutely no reason for
It was a perfect movie, man.
Simka asks if they can just have lunch, and Latka says sure, and he makes a joke about having to shave first, obviously leading to another usage of the styptic pencil, no doubt.
He should have come out all fucking bloody, just a mass, from the nose down, just red.
Yeah. So Latka gives her a little peck on the cheek. It's a very sweet moment before he goes back to shave yet again. Simka is, she says she's relieved because Latka is the same sweet man that she left all those years ago. Alex hurriedly says, so long, and he starts to leave, obviously trying to avoid what Louis asked him to do. Side note, Father Malone, and this one's a good one. We used to mention the background players in the garage on the regular. Remember, they were like leggy pants lady with the spacesuit or whatever. Richard Sakai used to pop back there and do his thing, but we haven't done it for a while. But I don't know if you noticed this, but Alex is turning to leave. A man and a woman walk past him into the garage as he's walking out. Did you notice them?
I didn't. I feel ashamed.
The guy was a dead ringer for Jeff Foxworthy. The You Might Be a Redneck guy. I don't know where they found this guy, but he looked exactly like Jeff Foxworthy. It was crazy. Are we led to believe that Jeff Foxworthy was a cabbie before he did the redneck jokes?
Do you remember when David Spade did him on Weekend Update, and it was you might be the Ebola virus? If you have an RNA strand.
He did not do Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh my God, it's one of the best.
Wow, because he was not known for his impressions. Spade.
Well, no, he did Tom Petty, and he did Michael J. Fox. Both very, very good impressions.
The Michael J. Fox was especially good. They did America's Most Wanted. It was former child actors, like Mindy Cohn is in there, and all.
Yeah,
these...
Michael J. Fox was Danny Bonaducci.
Right, that was he was hosting that week exactly, and Spade just killed with his Michael J. Fox impression. It was unbelievable. He looked like him. He had the mannerisms. Very underrated mimic, I think.
Yeah, as he was here again.
Was it like a science program that he was hosting about?
No. It was like Weekend Update, and they went, so now here to talk about the Ebola was in the news, so how to recognize it. Our science advisor Jeff Foxworthy. You might be the Ebola virus if.
Oh, I hope that's on YouTube. I got to check it out.
Are you causing bleeding from your eyes and pores? Well, you might be the Ebola virus.
Louis rings his cage bell to summon Alex back to break the news to Simka about Latka's multiple personalities. So Alex takes Simka over to the coffee machine, which is I've noticed over time is the spot when you're going to have a heart-to-heart talk with somebody. 9 times out of 10, you're taking them over to the bench in front of the coffee machine. I don't know why that is.
Well, it's the only place that doesn't feature all the extras who have to pretend they're not listening to your conversation.
I guess no one behind you to distract from. I guess that's true. Alex says, look, don't be alarmed. I need to tell you something about Latka, but there's nothing, I assure you there's nothing wrong, but I have to tell you this. And he explains to Simka about Latka's multiple personalities, how he becomes a totally different person without even realizing it. And Simka has this word for it. She's like, oh, you mean he's cookie putz? Which was a word that I was not familiar with. I didn't know if it was something in her language or if there was something that I'm missing, but the closed captioning was very specific. It was cookie putz.
I think she was mangling, and she was attempting to get him to take her to Carvel ice cream.
Oh, the cookie puss.
Get a cookie puss, yeah.
Maybe. They're very popular in New York at that time. The Carvel ice cream store. So we fade to Latka's apartment. Latka is dressed in this funky, sort of light rust-colored suit.
Taupe.
Is it taupe? Okay. I couldn't come up with the color.
It is taupe all day and all night, man.
It is taupe. And the tie is like green and orange and crazy striped tie. It looked great.
It looks like an Australian's nightmare. HP, can I ask a question? Speaking of music,
Of course. Oh, you're going to talk about what's playing over the.
yeah, is it not Andy Kaufman doing an Elvis Presley impression, speaking in Latka's language, doing "Wise Man Say Only
Love Me
Fools"?
Tender.
Oh, he's doing "Love Me Tender," right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You're right where I'm going to, Father Malone, here. So Latka is putting the finishing touches on a romantic place setting with table for two with candles and the whole bit. And as you said, over the soundtrack, he's playing a record, and it's effectively an Elvis impersonator singing "Love Me Tender" in Latka's language. And yes, you are correct. The singing voice is expert Elvis impersonator Andy Kaufman.
As if anyone else was going to be allowed
Who
to
else
do
was going to
that.
do it? I mean, I don't know if we've really talked about this in the past. We've been doing this for so long now, but people who you say to people, yeah, Andy Kaufman had an amazing Elvis impersonation. I think you're kind of joking because he wasn't really known for his mimicry necessarily, but anyone who doesn't understand that concept of him doing this Elvis impersonation, do yourself a favor, go to YouTube, search for Andy Kaufman Elvis, and it's incredible. It goes beyond mere mimicry, in my opinion, and he really kind of embodies a certain type of Elvis impersonation, right?
Yeah, Andy Kaufman, known for jokes, and was doing jokes about impersonators. And the joke here is that his impersonation of Elvis is transcendent. Like
Yeah.
it is because it's the payoff to his foreign man character,
Right.
doing impressions. So it's basically Latka saying, a famous line of a character, but as Latka, like not doing an impression of that character at all. And then the last bit is, and now I'm going to do Elvis Presley. And he fucking turns into Elvis Presley. He pulls out, like he's got Velcro clothes on, so he's got the jumpsuit underneath, and he does the hair into the thing, and the lip starts going. The first to start doing the Elvis lip thing as an impression. And an impression that Elvis himself saw and enjoyed.
It's magical because, like you said, ultimately it is a punchline to the foreign man bit, but one gets the sense that he took a very particular pride in his impersonation and getting all these details right. And he sounds just like Elvis. It's really amazing how he, like I said, he embodies Elvis in a way that most impersonations just kind of get the surface level details right. So, of course, it makes sense in this context that they would have Andy Kaufman do the Elvis voice, and it's a very funny. It's not, they don't really call attention to it. It's there, and if you take note of it, it's really funny because it's clearly "Love Me Tender," but he's doing "Ibi Da" and all these well-known phrases from his language. It's awesome. It's really, really terrific. Simka knocks at the door, and Latka turns down the music and goes and opens it. And here's another side note, Father Malone. This episode's full of fun little side notes. When he opens the door, and this is another great piece of set dressing, you can see the corridor, clearly a rundown apartment in New York, and you see the corridor beyond Simka. Did you notice the graffiti on the wall behind her?
No.
You didn't notice this? I can't believe you didn't notice this. It's so obvious. I couldn't make out all of it because this is obviously not an HD program. We're dealing with the 80s and television wasn't that good. So I looked at it now. Among the graffiti that I could make out, there's a lot more that's sort of blurry, but I did see it says "Go Mets." It says "Eat a fish." I don't know why it says "Eat a fish," or if there's a punchline that just wasn't very visible. And it also has a heart with TM and JB on the inside of it, which made me want to go online and see what James Burrows' wife was named, but she's not TM. It's not. Maybe it is JB for James Burrows, but I don't know who TM is. Maybe you can figure it out. I don't know. There's also a 555 number, which I thought was also a nice touch. So anyway, Simka comes in and they he gives her a little peck on the cheek. Latka tells her, "I hope you're hungry because I made something special." And she takes a little sniff and she yells, "Warthog!" Latka has made a delicacy from the old country, apparently, some warthog. So he brings to the table what looks like a giant leg of lamb. It
Is that what it
didn't-
looked like?
What did you think it looked like?
Foul.
It looked kind of gross. Like there's a lot about this dinner that is kind of a little unsettling. He asks Simka if she would like something from the hoof or something closer to the tusk. It was warthog after all. And she says she wants both. And this just, touches Latka's heart. And he says that's one of the things he loves most about her. She eats like a swine. Simka tells him that it's perfect. Everything is just perfect. And then Latka offers her a glass of Brefnish. Have we seen this joke in previous episodes?
Yes, we did
have.
because I'm sure I told you the fact that on a New Year's Eve in Venice, California, I went to a
Yes.
friend's party and he had Romanian homemade wine that poured like syrup, like
Ugh.
pancake syrup, and I was like, you want me to drink all of this? Like watching it slowly ooze down the glass as it's like approaching my tongue was a horror.
That's what this is. So he gets I think it may be the episode when he was going to go off to war. I think maybe
Probably.
that's the one that was featuring Brefnish, because he brings out this bottle and he pours it, and it pours like thick honey or something. But what really turned my stomach is it's colored bright green.
Oh, I like that.
Ugh, it looks like it makes me think it's mint or something, which I don't really love mint. I'm not a big fan of spearmint.
I thought it was gonna be like Gatorade.
It's just he pours them each a glass of this stuff, and it's just so disgusting looking. And they actually take a drink of it, which I don't remember them drinking it when I saw it in that previous episode, but just the thought of that. What do you think it tasted like? What do you think it was actually made of?
To me, it looked like they had just melted down green apple candy, like the old
Like Jolly Rancher?
Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, that was really what you were thinking of?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those
a shot in
little
the
Jolly
dark.
Rancher sticks you used to get in grade school. Yeah, just throw a bunch of those in a pot and boil it down, and while it's still sort of maybe add a little something that makes it not liquefy so much.
Yeah, but wouldn't that
Thickens
have
it.
been really hot though if it's melted candy?
No, not if you had added some sort of thing that made it elastic and
Like a guar gum or something.
yeah,
weird.
some weird
Okay.
thing that these on-set food people are so magical with,
Yeah,
oh, we
it's
just dust it with a little bit of sawdust and now it turns into a cake, and you're like, wow, look at that.
It just looked horrible, and I guess that's the point. So they take a drink, and Simka confides that she's had many lonely nights since they parted, and Latka agrees it's been much the same for him, which is why he was so glad to get her letter from Omaha, where I guess she lived for a while. This is something that's not really delved into in any depth. I thought she just was living in New York and getting on with her life, but apparently she moved to Omaha for a period. Latka excitedly announces that he wants to tell her something. He says it's the best evening he's had in a long time, and he's been dreaming of this evening for so long with her. And he wants to continue, but he hesitates. And Simka presses him on what he wants to say. What are you trying to say, Latka? What are you trying to say? And after more hesitation, Latka looks down.
Don't push him. You wouldn't like him when he's angry.
This is a real Mr. McGee moment here. So he looks down. He's sort of like stammering. And he doesn't. Then he looks up, and he sniffs the air disdainfully, and all of a sudden we're back in Vic Ferrari land. He says, Vic says, "What died in here?" The warthog, obviously not hitting him the same way that it hit the two of them.
Vic saying what everyone's thinking.
True. Simka says, "Latka," and Vic replies, "Oh boy, here we go again." So we got the full-on Vic experience here, and he introduces himself to Simka. Simka, remembering Alex's warning, says, "She better go." And Vic starts flirting with her in a typical swinger fashion, and surprisingly, she reciprocates.
Hey, whoa.
Well, what?
This was not typical swinger fashion. This was courting. This was actual sort of romantic gestures that were going on here. Like, you could say everything that coming out of his mouth was a line, but they aren't typical lounge lizard Vic Ferrari bullshit here. Like, this is him wooing her and her responding in kind. And I say this because this is my favorite part of any relationship. And I loved this scene when he's like speaking to her about her, and she's going like, wow, Latka could never say anything like that. She's swooning effectively, brother.
That's fine, but he is such a Lothario. How can you ascribe anything like courting to what he's doing? These are just lines that he's feeding her to get her to bed with him.
They're not just lines to get her into bed. Not in this case. We've seen Vic Ferrari type lines. He delivers them all the time because there's always a tinge of grossness to them. These are not that. These are compliments directed at her.
I don't buy it. Vic has been born. Do you remember how Vic was created? He spent like a week with a whole stack of Playboys, reading them to understand the American male. Remember, to live in the fast lane.
You saying that a Playboy can't know love? How dare you? Show yourself out. All right, Mr. Walters Peoples. I'm taking over.
No. I'm suggesting that he boiled down the superficiality of late 70s, early 80s, bro behavior, and he created a monster.
Right, and what you said about him in previous episodes was true. They ran out of the juice in that particular character track. And in this episode, suddenly, there's a whole new interesting facet, which is Simka falls in love with not Latka, while Latka at the same time, which is Vic Ferrari. So what you're saying, HB, if these are all just lines to get her into bed, you're impugning Simka's character. You're making her less than she is. You're robbing her of agency, sir, and I will not let you do that.
Not at all. What I'm saying is Simka is at a point where she cannot understand the real bounds between Vic Ferrari and Latka. To her, it's still Latka. So
no,
in
it's
her
not.
mind,
it absolutely is not, because as soon as Latka comes back, she's like, yeah, you're a dud.
Well, that's only after she's had the Vic experience.
Right.
What I'm saying is she doesn't have that delineation.
I disagree with you. She has been told what the situation is. She knows the scenario, and then suddenly it's like, hey, I'm Vic Ferrari, and she goes along with it. She even comments like, "This is the way you're talking to me. He is incapable of doing."
But no, I think what you're doing, what you're doing is you're making her out to be much more superficial than we know her to be.
No, because you don't believe Vic Ferrari, so therefore you think that she's like under his spell or something like that. I'm saying he's being sincere and she's being sincere.
I don't think there's a sincere bone in Vic's body, but...
Well, that's because you don't give people second chances, HP, and I do. Sorry. I believe in the second act of a person's life.
Oh, give me a break. Really? You're going to buy this Vic Ferrari bullshit? Come on, Father Malone.
I'd like to. I think your language is hostile. I might turn into Vic Ferrari.
Could be. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, regardless of she, what's going on, she does reciprocate his flirting, and in fact, one could say that Simka is putty in Vic's hands. She's responding to his every pseudo-romantic line, I would say. Eventually,
I'm waving you off. You can't see it, listeners. I'm waving him off. He's way off. Once again, this is a man who falls for Angela episodes, so don't listen to him, okay?
Now. Of course, you would bring up Angela again. Eventually,
Sap.
Eventually, they kiss and they kiss again, and it's leading to something much more
They fuck,
aggressive
man. They
than
go
kissing.
to bed, brother. Like, this works because he's sincere, she's sincere. So they have a great night together. And now we're stuck with this loser fucking Latka again.
So we fade to commercial, and we fade back in. With this might be B-roll. This may be a B-roll that we've never seen before. It's sunrise over what I believe is the Brooklyn Bridge, as a very sensitive Bob James piano line kind of comes in. It's a great image and sound kind of coming together. I don't know that we've seen this B-roll before. Do you remember
No,
seeing it?
I've
No, we
never
haven't?
seen it before. No.
Very effective.
That's because we have a new director who probably went, do we have any B-roll we haven't seen yet? And then well, we got this bridge thing.
It's the direction is very solid in this. It makes me question why would ever have impugned his talent because it's wonderful. Not I want James Burrows back, but I think this guy Zinberg is really good. So we fade back into Latka's apartment as Simka is singing in her language as she's setting the table for breakfast. Like you said, she's not like going so far as to wear his shirt like over her like underwear to convey like, oh, she just threw on whatever was there. But it's pretty clear that they had sex. I mean, it's obvious.
It's the next day. She spent the night. What did they do?
She spent the night. Exactly. So she's floating around the apartment, and Latka emerges from the back bedroom in his underwear as Simka gleefully shouts, "Baby cakes!" and gives a very confused Latka a big hug. And she immediately figures out that it's Latka and not Vic.
Do you think Chuck Palahniuk was a fan of this episode before writing Fight Club? Because this feels a lot like Marla Singer the next day with Ed Norton, and she's like, "What's going on? Why are you treating me like shit all of a sudden?"
It could be because there is an element of that in Latka's sort of split personalities. I never thought of it in that sense, but you might be onto something, Father Malone.
The germ of Fight Club begins here with Simka.
Yeah.
Simka, Marla Simka.
Marla Simka. So Latka asks, what's going on? Why are you still here? And he has apparently no memory of what happened the previous night. And Simka explains that they had a wonderful time. And she says that he was very funny and he was charming. And he mentions that his name was Vic. And this immediately sends Latka into a rage. The mere mention of Vic upsets him greatly. And we've seen them kind of go back and forth, the little battles that the two of them have. So it's not surprising in the least.
He's just mad because Vic is better than him.
Well, it's a very odd dilemma because ultimately she had sex with Latka. Only does it count as him having sex with Simka if he has no memory and had no agency over his body?
No, effectively, Simka is cheating on him.
On Latka with himself.
With himself. So he can't even do anything. There's nothing. There's no one to confront.
No, and he has not been able to derive any pleasure from the act either. I mean, he can't get mad at anybody, and he can't lay claim.
You know what though?
To,
yeah,
to
I mean, the thing is, HP, he's not invited. Like, sorry, pal, it ain't you.
To think of the ramifications of this, the mind kind of reels a little bit, and it's easy to see why he would be so upset, putting aside their prior rivalry. I mean, the fact is, like you said, he wasn't invited. He may as well have not touched Simka at all for as much as he remembers of the situation.
He didn't.
Didn't.
There's a whole other character who just in his situation, that other character just doesn't exist, but it is him. It's like a Philip K. Dick novel.
Consider this. Let's say Vic murders somebody.
Yeah,
And-
well, it wasn't that the Crowded Room was that screenplay eventually turned into a movie. Jim Cameron was going to make it a million years ago about somebody put on trial for murder, but it wasn't them. It was one of their personalities that did it. So how do you deal with that?
How do you deal with it? Is how do you assess guilt when you had no agency over your actions during that act? I mean, this is just a silly sitcom, but I mean, you could plot this out into infinity as to what he'd be responsible for or not be responsible for.
Well, this is the source of basically, half the thrillers, right? Where the person wakes up with no memory of what happened, and there's a bloody knife in their hand, and now we have to work our way back.
You're saying that when someone is drunk, they're effectively another personality.
No, I'm saying
on
that
drugs.
I'm saying no, because I'm not giving the reason why the person is blacked out at all. Like, I'm saying that's part of the mystery of the thing. Like, it
Oh,
doesn't
sure.
necessarily have to be that. It can be something like Memento, where there is something going on neurologically where they only remember 15 minutes at a time. You know.
It's a fascinating thing to roll around in your head and try to think of the ramifications
And on a
of it.
side note, HP, I've been watching a lot of Battlestar Galactica, and nobody knows if they're a Cylon or not at all times. And people wake up to it all the time, and they have no idea that this was their previous life. Like, I mentioned Philip K. Dick, but like, that is the central thing in Blade Runner, or Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Right.
Like, a lot of these replicants don't have any idea that they're replicants, like, and then they have to wake up to that reality at one point. It's a fucking
Sure.
horrifying notion.
Interesting thought puzzle, this whole Vic versus Latka thing. Latka, after Simka says, well, he was so wonderful, Latka says, it wasn't me. And then Latka declares, and this is kind of, we're getting a little bit of the Latka from the previous Simka episode. Latka says that Simka has shamed him. She has degraded herself. She has disgraced her family. She has cheapened her people. And she has blemished her planet. And this is where maybe some of the sympathy for Latka goes back out the window. Because that's a little harsh.
Isn't that curious?
That's that. Simka angrily gathers her things. And she says, I hate you. I never want to see you again. And thank you for a wonderful night. And she leaves.
Good line. Well delivered.
Well delivered, right? Carol Kane is so good. So good in
And
this.
have we mentioned that she's adorable, by the way? Like in a show with already one goddess, now this elfin queen comes striding in just to go like, hey, I'm also wacky too. I can yuck it up as funny as anyone on this show, which Marilu Henner cannot do.
No. Carol Kane has chops that, as much as we love Marilu Henner, there's things that Kane does that she cannot do. In the Lovey's book, there's a little mini interview with her, and she says how when she came back for this episode, initially, she didn't understand how to best deliver the comedy. She tried too hard to be funny, Father Malone, and the producers, they raked her over the coals for it, and they said, this is not how you do it. And she learned how to be funny without trying to be funny. I guess it's a very there's a lot of subtlety there. Funny, it seems like not subtle because she's so forceful, but I do think this points to the idea that there's a fine line between acting funny and just being funny, and that's what she is. She is just funny.
Natural, yeah.
Naturally funny. That's what I meant. We fade back into the garage as Alex notices Latka lying under the cab. Alex tells him, look, you've been under that cab all day. Come on, something's happened, Latka. Let's talk about it. And Latka tells Alex and Elaine, who's also by the same cab, that
This
Simka's
was the
found
moment of
another man.
direction I mentioned earlier, because Elaine and Alex are on either side of the open hooded car, and Latka is lying underneath it.
Yeah.
And Latka has a work light under there, so there's this bright white light shooting up from the engine of the car. So it looks like it kind of looks like the Pulp Fiction briefcase, or like or something from Grease or something like that. And it just conjured this idea of this like angel devil shoulder thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And here's the thing, like, they kind of did this in the Tony episode too, where Alex and Elaine came like slithering out of the darkness to like give advice, and like, and now they're doing it again. And I like the idea of them swooping in and giving relationship. Oh, someone's relationship is in trouble. Alex, let's go. And then they just perch there.
It makes me appreciate the way you say that. It makes me appreciate Zinberg's direction all the more. I think these are things that they don't call attention to themselves, but it is interesting to kind of analyze how he's blocking these shots. I think it's really cool.
You could only go to the coffee machine so many fucking times, like, so there are only so many setups you can do in this garage, and we haven't seen that one yet.
It's very clever. So Latka tells them both that Simka's found another man, and Elaine, sympathetically, this was a little odd the way she says it. I know what she meant, but she says that she can't tell Latka how many times that's happened to her, which made me go, what? How many times somebody left her for another man? Like it seemed, I think what she was trying to say was, I can't tell you how many times I've been dropped by someone who left me for somebody else. I'll take it that way.
You can go either way with that, I think.
I suppose, and no judgment. Whatever.
How many times she's dated some guy and it turned out he was gay? It probably has occurred to her.
When Latka explains to Elaine that the other man in this case is Vic, Elaine instead just kind of washes her hands of it.
Like
Says, so why
walks
don't you
off.
talk to Alex? She walks off. She talked to
That's great.
Alex and walks away. This is too much for her. Alex asks Latka, hey, let's go grab some coffee and we'll talk about it. In that special heart-to-heart area of the coffee machine. And Latka refuses. And stubbornly, Alex grabs a rope connected to that board. This is interesting. Do you know what that thing is called? That thing that mechanics use to roll around under the car?
Is it like a scoot around or something?
No, it's not. But I did some research. I actually found this out. I looked it up. The actual name of this thing, it's called a creeper, or more specifically, a mechanic's creeper. Do you ever hear that?
I know I heard it in my youth. We had one. My dad was a mechanic, a car mechanic. So
Was he really?
Yeah, we had one in my garage that I used to roll around on when I was a kid.
It always looked like fun to me as a kid, like kind of a little sled that you could
It's a
slide
blast,
around on.
and like as a kid, the clearance under a car is so wide, like you don't need to put the car up at all. You just go sliding under there.
Yeah, no, I just never knew that there was a specific name for it. I dated a girl once whose father had built his own garage in the backyard. He did not have a set of creepers to go under the car. He actually built these little like tunnels under the car, so you'd pull your car in, and there was a little stairway, and you could actually walk. It was subterranean below the car, and stand up and work on the car without having to lay down on your back. I thought it was pretty. I'd never seen that up to that point.
Oh yeah, well most most mechanic shops will have that, right? It's a little unusual in someone's garage.
Made more sense to me than having to roll around on your back and kind of deal with gravity in that fashion. So, anyhow,
Yeah, but it's cool to roll around on your back in those things.
it is, especially if you're a kid.
How else
I'm
are you
sure
gonna
that's-
roll out and like you could say something dramatically and roll back under,
right, like something out of Grease or one of those
Yeah.
kind of movies. So Alex yanks this rope and effectively sleds Latka over to the coffee machine, and Alex says to Latka he finds it hard to believe that Simka would prefer Vic to him. And Latka says, well, no, I have evidence, because he found 2 airline tickets in Vic's sport coat to Bermuda. and Elaine says, well, just because Vic has these tickets doesn't mean that she's going. And then Latka says, look what I found in Vic's velour smoking jacket. It's a note that says, I will be at your place tonight promptly at 7-ish. Signed, Simka. Latka's frustrated, and he says that Vic has more fun in his pockets than Latka's had his whole life. Elaine tries to tell Latka, look, although Simka may prefer Vic, there's a lot of women that would love your more innocent qualities. And Latka says something to the effect of, there just aren't enough women who prefer timid, weak men. And that, I guess, goes to your point, Father Malone. Of course, Vic is going to be the better catch because he's assertive and strong.
And romantic, and tells her she's beautiful and rare and special. And not just, I missed you. Oh, you've done something I don't like. I curse you into the ground. You should fucking die. Maybe Vic just doesn't do that.
Anyhow, Alex says, are you just going to sit there and mope? Why don't you start thinking of Simka? Are you going to let a guy like Vic go out with Simka? And furthermore, Alex says, you're responsible for this. Latka realizes that he has kind of made it possible for Simka to meet Vic. He has been the conduit.
He's been a dickhead, and his regular personality just ain't working at all. And so, like, Suddenly he had to resort to this whole other guy who up until now has just been the Lothario character, but turns out the Lothario like has a fucking purpose, which is that's something Simka actually responds to.
We will agree to disagree. I think these are just lines that he's throwing out there. I don't believe that Vic has actually learned the error of his ways and he's lonely. He just needs the love of a good woman to make him.
He should cry into his beer after telling her that she's a fucking piece of shit because she was in a different region than him growing up, right? And then just cry, oh, I'm so lonely without her. And then she shows back up and he does something she doesn't like and he tells her she should be ashamed of herself and that she's degraded herself and she's a blemish on the planet. You're right. What a fucking prick that Lothario Vic is.
What people can't see, what listeners can't see, is when Father Malone goes on, he goes into the rant zone and he actually grabs his mic with his hand, brings it up close so he can really truth tell to all you listeners. He's taking control. So Latka's emboldened. He says he's going to save Simka from that 2-bit bossa nova Vic. Latka
Bossa Nova, that's a good one.
That is a good
Casanova.
one. No, it's good. It's a good line. So then he rushes out as we fade into Latka's apartment. There's a knock at the door and Simka enters and she's carrying a suitcase. Father Malone.
Off to Bermuda with Vic.
Off to Bermuda.
I can't wait to watch. Let's go with them. That sounds more interesting than hanging around with Latka for even a second more.
Oh, boy. So they sit at the table and Latka tells her that there's something important that he needs to say. First, he apologizes. He apologizes, Father Malone, for getting so mad at her the other day. Next, Latka tells Simka that she must stop seeing Vic. What you guys can also see is Father Malone is flipping me off right now. He's so incensed.
She
she's
must
gotta
stop seeing Vic. No, you got to stop seeing me. Get out of here and bring Vic out. I'm off to Bermuda with him.
He says there's one more thing that he wants her to know. And ever since she came back, he doesn't know what he's doing. He can't sleep. He can't eat. His work is suffering. He says, please don't go to Bermuda again with Vic because, and he's hesitating and Simka presses him and he starts again with the I before he reverts back to Vic. And Simka tells Vic that she wants Latka back. And Simka...
Based on absolutely nothing.
She says she doesn't want to go to Bermuda anymore. She wants Latka.
Seconds ago, she was down for going to fucking Bermuda. She's got a fucking suitcase in her hand. And then he's like, I can't sleep. And she's like, no, you're right. That man, he's a meanie. Get out of here. Can we cut back to the garage or something? Is Reverend Jim being a burnout somewhere? Can we go do that?
Wow, here I thought, oh, man.
You thought we were aligned in this one, right?
I thought we were, but I think we're going to be pretty far apart. This is crazy. Vic tells Simka, look, if I go out that door, I'm never coming back. And she just says, all right, bye, Vic. See ya. Opens the door for him. And Vic tells Simka, she blew it, baby. And he walks out. And
she did.
Well, Simka closes the door, and which is followed by Latka coming in. He's yelling into the corridor like Vic is walking. He's like, oh, and another thing, I never want to see you here again, blah, 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 blah. By the way, there was another bit of graffiti in the background. Did you notice this one? It's a piece that we didn't see already. It says Tommy loves Mouse, and I have no idea what that means.
Tommy loves a girl named Mouse, or a guy named Mouse.
I guess so. That's their nickname, Mouse.
Yeah,
like some little short person, maybe.
You've never known a mouse?
No.
Oh, come on, man.
Latka finally tells Simka there's something he needs to tell her, and he doesn't want to beat around the bush anymore. He tells Simka that he loves her, and she excitedly says, me too. They passionately kiss as we go to credits. Now that's the episode. We're going to talk about yellow lights now.
What does a yellow light mean?
As a reminder, we grade every episode on a scale from 1 to 5 yellow lights. 1 is the worst taxi episode, and 5 is the best. And as is our custom, we're going to kick it to you, Father Malone. What do you give Simka Returns?
I give it 4 yellow lights.
Whoa, no kidding, really?
Oh yeah, I think
I
it
thought
deserves.
for sure you were going to give this 2 yellow lights.
No, it deserves 3, but I'm giving it an extra one just because of Carol Kane, obviously.
Holy moly! Wow.
I didn't hate the episode. I know they had to contrive that ending to get us back to square one because it's a sitcom.
Right.
But the journey there was an interesting one, and I thought there were lots of laughs here, and I didn't hate any of Elaine's outfits in this one because she comes back in a second purple outfit halfway through the episode, which when she's at the car with Alex. So and the direction was nifty. I thought.
Yeah.
So I don't hate the episode or anything. It's just that I can't stand Latka as a character if you're stacking him up against Vic Ferrari.
I don't agree with you there, but funny enough, we did arrive at the same place. I gave this episode 4 yellow lights as well. Now, I probably would. Here, the thing of it is, like, there's not much for the rest of the cabbies to do, really, and that is always, for me, that's typically a hallmark of a perfect taxi episode. But because all we really have, this is essentially just a two-hander with Simka, really 3 if you count Vic, I guess, technically. But when an episode is this funny, and the impact of this character of Simka is this seismic, it really does deserve a pretty good score, and that's why I gave it 4 yellow lights as well. So surprise, surprise, we got to the same spot, Father Malone. I'm shocked.
Well, stranger things have happened.
I guess so. So 4 yellow lights from me, 4 yellow lights from Father Malone. That's going to do it for this episode of Night, Mr. Walters. Father Malone, what are you up to when you're not clocked into the garage?
Oh, geez, too much. I have a show called Midnight Viewing. It's on twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. Fridays is a weekly roundup where we do current things that are streaming and theatrical, and HP is frequently helping me there with the news that we do there. And Monday's show is either a fest. We're doing Von Doom Fest, looking at all the MCU movies, and or Tales from the Unexpected, Roald Dahl's horror anthology series, which I do with Mike White from the projection booth. I also have a Patreon channel. This is too long-winded. Take it away, HP. Go do all those things. Go Midnight Viewing, patreon.com/Father Malone 71. Oh, no, just Father Malone. Just Father Malone.
I've often said, you've heard me on this podcast say, Father Malone is the busiest podcaster around. There's more content than you can shake a stick at. For myself, I host the Noise Junkies music podcast, and I also have a Bandcamp site, hpmusicplace.bandcamp.com. By the way, Father Malone, working on a new album, getting very close. Very exciting.
I'm always hesitant to ask because I don't want to make you feel bad if you're not, but that's exciting.
No, I've been lately very inspired for whatever reason. So look for that hopefully in the not too distant future. But for all you listeners, thanks again for joining us. Please feel free to subscribe to the podcast, write a review, or rate us. We'd love to hear from you. And as I mentioned earlier, the email address is hpmusicplace@gmail.com. For myself and Father Malone, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you here again next time.